Hey, it's that time once again. What I need you to do is go and get, unless you already have it with you, a blanket or a pillow, something comfortable, because I'm going to share a story with you. And here's what the story is about. The story is about this. A deck of cards, right? Everybody's seen a deck of cards. You got an example, deck of cards got the ace of diamonds, the king of clubs, the queen of hearts, the jack of spades. I mean, come on, it's got twos. There's some twos there. There's some eights and nines and tens, right? Deck of cards. We've all seen them. Maybe you've played, maybe you've built houses with them, structures with them, card houses. Maybe you've played, Crazy Eights or other games like that. I'm going to share with you, I'm going to read you a story about a little girl who loved to play with a deck of cards. And it's also got a brother in it. But, you're going to have to hear the story to know what it's about. Once there was a little girl who liked playing cards. She would build houses out of them, or she would play solitaire or crazy eights. And one day she left them out on the floor of her room and went outside. Now her older brother had the responsibility to vacuum all the floors of the house that day. And you got to know, he didn't much care for cards. So he began to vacuum the floors downstairs. And not aware that upstairs were all of his sister's cards laying out on the floor after she had just played a game. And it wasn't too long before those cards heard the vacuum noise downstairs. And they knew that soon the brother would be up in the room to vacuum them up. So the cards began to be very frightened. And they began to talk to each other. And the three of diamonds said, we need to get up before the vacuum gets us. So let's help each other. But the 10 of hearts replied, I'll help the other tens and maybe the other hearts, but I'm not helping the three of diamonds. They're different than me. And the kings and the queens and the jacks, well, they decided that they would only help themselves because they were royalty. And they couldn't be bothered by the little cards beneath them. So they all began to argue with one another. And as they did, the vacuum came closer and closer and closer. More and more of the cards demanded that they, and only they, deserved to be helped. But the sevens wouldn't help the eights, and the fives wouldn't help the tens, and the clubs wouldn't help the spades, and the hearts wouldn't help the diamonds. And so they all continued to be in danger. And then the brother came up the stairs and stood at the entrance to his sister's room. And he spied all of the cards on the floor. And he got a mischievous grin on his face because he knew that soon the vacuum would gobble him up. So you know what happened then? The cards began to cry out. And the little girl who happened to just come dashing and running up the stairs heard their cry when she got into the house. And so she ran into the room and scooped up all the cards. She didn't care if they were spades. She didn't care if they were clubs. She didn't care if they were the queens or the jacks or the threes or the eights. She scooped them all up. The end. I found that story this week. And you know what I thought? I said, we have a God who's like that little girl. We have a God who cares for us all. We're all part of the same family, the same deck of cards. And God doesn't say, well, I only care about the eights. And God doesn't say, I only care about the sixes or the fives. God says, I love you all. Whether you're a diamond or a heart or a club or a spade. We have a God who's... Well, the reading that you just heard says, no matter if you're Jew or Gentile, Jew or Greek, what Paul's saying is, no matter where you live, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what color of skin you have, no matter who you love, no matter the foods you eat, the languages you speak, God loves us all. We're all part of one family. So we need to treat each other like God treats us. We need to accept and to love and to care for everybody. So this week, when you're playing with a deck of cards, playing some kind of game, think about it. God loves us all. Thanks for coming.